Hey, Suzanne. Back in the home office today after going to the extended stay hotel forum yesterday. That was a whole lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to hearing a little bit about that, but I'm in my home campus office today, so in my podcast studio. Yeah.
All right, it's coming at you from New York, Florida, and Phoenix, Arizona.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality. Hey everybody, welcome to No Vacancy Live. Hope everyone's having a really wonderful day. I'm feeling pretty good. We actually got spring outside here in New York for once. It's so nice not to be 50 degrees, rainy, dark, and depressing. I'm Glenn Houseman.
I skipped spring. I'm right in summer. I'm like 98.
Yeah, so when I was in Orlando a couple of weeks ago, it was already like hitting 90 and stuff like that. I'm like, woo, it's May. Y'all are in for some trouble out there. And why do I sound like suddenly I'm from Mississippi? I don't know what's going on today, Suzanne. Anyway, I want to thank you all for being here today. I had a great time yesterday. I want to thank the folks over at the International Management Network, IMN, for their extended stay hotel forum. Producer Dave joined me yesterday, Suzanne. I got to host a panel, and it was such a extended stay geek fest, I'll tell you.
I miss my extended stay world and family when I was a GM. I think between the family members that we worked with and our guests that were treated like family, it really is a great mix and brand concept. Yeah, it sure is. All right, let's get into it today because, I'm talking extended stay, but I want to talk global hospitality today. And there's nobody better to do that than a person who's on the ground, or I should say in the air, traveling all over the world, making deals, running the international operations as president of World Hotels and BWH. Hey, Ron Pohl. How are you, my friend?
I am doing great. How are you, Glenn?
I'm fantastic. It is so great to see you here today. So, I always got to start off these conversations. How many frequent flyer miles are you logging this year?
Well, I hit executive platinum in the first 45 days of the year with American. So it was, it's been a busy first quarter. But I have to say, before we dig into this, y'all are talking about weather. I'm in Phoenix, okay? So we broke 100 last week for the
But it's that dry heat. You're not supposed to complain about that.
I'm not complaining, but even an oven is warm. So
that's really not fun, Ron. I was there last summer in July with Dr. Producer Suzanne. Actually, it was like 122 or some ridiculous thing out there. So Godspeed with you. I'm going to enjoy my 72 and sunny while I got it.
Perfect.
But I'll tell you what, one way I've been escaping the weather is traveling all over the country, having a lot of good times. But you've been traveling all over the world. Like you just said, that first quarter was really busy. What have you been up to? Now, was that really symbolic of the overall energy you're feeling in the global hospitality business?
Yeah, I would say, that, Europe is always, continues to progress at a steady pace, kind of like the North America. But where we've seen really the greatest excitement is in the Middle East, Africa, parts of Asia, and Latin America. So really, in the first quarter, I've been to all regions.
Wow.
And heading back there, starting in 2 weeks, back to Asia again. I missed ATM Dubai, unfortunately.
It's fine, Ron. You're crushing me over here. All I do is go to Orlando or Las Vegas.
But the Middle East is so exciting today. I mean, truly, we've got a handful of properties there, but at ATM Dubai, we signed hotels, and you were talking about, extended stay. We have 2 brands within extended stay under BWH. We've got executive residency, and we've got at home. And both of those we're getting an awful lot of traction around the world with them. And so it's not just in the luxury segment with Dubai. I mean, with Middle East, it's all segments. They want,
right. Ron, I feel like after following the Dubai story and UAE and the wider Middle East over the last 15, 20 years, I feel like they've got some luxury hotels there, and there's probably a huge hole for other types of products in those markets. I don't hear much chatter around that. So what's going on in these markets with the the everyman like us that aren't staying in luxury hotels that are 450 stars on a regular basis?
Yeah, right. No, you're exactly right, and that's what really we see in a lot of the media is some of these amazing properties built on man-made islands and all of that. But in the Middle East at ATM last week, we signed a dozen deals, and
No way.
And truly that it was across the gamut. I mean, we signed Best Western, we signed Best Western Plus, we signed Executive Residency, we signed a couple World Hotels.
Fantastic.
And we did. This is an interesting. It's our second World Hotel residence. So like other brands, like Marriott has done in the past with Ritz-Carlton residences, it's not a hotel. It's actually condos for people to live in, residences.
Wow.
But they want the recognition of a global brand. So this one project is 900 condos and 100 hotel rooms. So it's a 1,000-room project, but
right.
Just an amazing dichotomy of what they're growing everywhere with all brands.
Suzanne, he threw us about 4 hours of content right there in 30
right?
seconds. I'm going to let you repack parts of it and figure out what we need to talk about next. So what's your question for him?
Well, I appreciate the fact that you're getting into that aspect of the market, and you talked a little bit of the concept, and I think from sustainability is something that we can also look at in the direction that you are going from some of these locations. So I would love to kind of unpack not what you talked about, but take you in a different direction.
Well, sustainability is important around the globe. There's obviously different levels of education and commitment to that. What I will tell you is that we have a global initiative to have all hotels within all of our brands. GSTC seems to be, the governing body because there's so many different certification programs around the world. So the Sustainable Tourism Council seems to be the benchmark for those programs that we certainly recognize and are using, as well as the Sustainable Hospitality Alliance, which all of the major brands participate in. So we're going to have 100% of our hotels certified by the end of 26. We'll probably have 75% of them done by the end of 2025. But it's that whole initiative is different around the world than it is in North America. Here, unfortunately, it tends to be a political discussion in some aspects, and the importance of it is truly there in that we can be smarter operators. Implementing these practices today not only is the right thing to do, but it is extremely beneficial to hotel operations. By putting these practices in place, energy costs are going through the roof. The governing bodies of, Canada has requirements and mandates now. California has mandates. New York has it. We're going to see it in Hawaii, Massachusetts. We're going to see it in, all over the states as well. So we need to just get ahead of this. We're working with H&LA as well as Green Key to establish these practices for the states and get our hotels certified so we control where our industry is going. And that's critically important. And, I just got back from a meeting in Stockholm, Sweden, and, just truly amazing that the entire country is sustainable.
Right.
You could count on one hand how many gas-powered vehicles there were. Everything was electric, and it was truly unique and just different. Arizona is, every fourth car on the road out here is a Tesla. So it continues to progress, but it was amazing to see in Sweden how it has just been the way they live. The city extremely clean. Everybody's focused on it, and it sets the example and the stage for I think the rest of the world.
We're actually hosting here at FIU the Sustainable Hotel or Hospitality Challenge, and so we have the semifinals going on right now
Oh, that's
today,
awesome.
which is awesome. And then the 7 teams will head out to Dubai, and really the innovation that these individuals are embarking upon is really amazing. And so that's the future, and just seeing what the other countries are doing is really amazing, and that you have the opportunity to take part in that footprint and travel along in that space.
Yeah, and Susanna, APAC's a bit different. There's different, levels of understanding there, but South Korea is another country that is incredible with their sustainable practices and how they've gone about building the cities with, underground trash removal. You don't see a garbage truck above on the streets because it's all done beneath the surface, and they're just some cutting edge things.
I keep all my trash beneath the all my metaphorical trash beneath the surface. So
Right.
But Ron, I mean, obviously that's so important. This year, I've actually working with a few sustainability companies behind the scenes because I think it's so important helping them get into hospitality and trying to create win-wins between brands such as yours and management companies and the owners and the customers. So it's a very exciting time because you can have those wins where everybody saves money while doing the right thing. And I think we're really at this point now where it's a true virtuous circle coming on with sustainability,
100%.
But I want to go back now. I want to pack up the sustainability chat and take back out some of this Middle East chat and then focus on other areas of the world, because really fascinated me is the consumers that these deals that you signed are going to be focused on. What types of people are they? What types of travelers are they? What is motivating them in such a way that this supply is needed within these markets?
Well, a lot of this started back with COVID, in my opinion, which was, we were restricted to traveling in the States, here, and everybody in their individual countries. And then as that lifted, everybody said, let's get the hell out and let's visit other parts of the world. So I think that just the international travel and desire for that has increased pretty substantially. And then you look at markets where, Paris is always a great place to visit, and Tokyo is always a great place to visit, but there's a lot of other great places that were never on that bucket list or, on our minds of where I might want to travel. So, and the Middle East is one of those, and Africa is expanding, one of the fastest growing continents in the world.
Yeah, for sure. Ron, I can't wait till we can really start talking about Africa in a meaningful way, because still it's too much Africa as opposed to talking about any one of the dozens of the 60 plus countries that are over there yet. I know colloquially we do that with Europe, but a lot of times then we go in. So I can't wait until there's so much action that we can start to have this conversation like Ethiopia and Nigeria and South Africa and do all that kind of stuff. Because I still feel like it's this mysterious part. But another area that's kind of mysterious in the world that's been becoming clearer and clearer is South America. You guys have been making a lot of progress over in South America, and our friends at other brands too. What is happening in that continent that suddenly, boom, we're seeing so much more, not just regular travel, but need for hotel development beyond leisure is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So, again, travel is all about the experience, and you've seen kind of the ebbs and flows in South America, where Brazil 10 years ago was a very popular destination and then had some challenges, and then looked at Peru and some of the other countries there, and Brazil has come back in full swing to the point that we're actually going to open up an office in Mexico City to focus on the growth in Mexico, but that also oversees Central and South America. We're going to open an office in Brazil as well, because of the opportunity there, and it's it's a beautiful country. I mean, that's what drives it. It's beautiful. It's unique. I was in Lima, Peru, for SAIC conference a couple months ago, and we started out there with one hotel. We've now got 5 hotels signed. for Lima, Peru, and that will continue to expand. But Brazil is a hot market again, and some of the aspects of that though is you have to do business in Brazil if you want to develop there. It's
Right.
they want to do the deals with people that have a commitment to the country, that have a legal entity there, that have boots on the ground, and pay in local. So
it's so funny, Ron. I hear that from people all the time, and it's just so logical because if you think about it, if I'm doing business with a company, I kind of want them to have a presence here in the United States. If there were somewhere that I'm not familiar with, it would open up a lot of questions to me. Just because I'm coming from a place of I don't know what I don't know, not anything surreptitious, but you have a comfort level when you're dealing with people there. And also people who really know the culture, those nuances that are part of it, and the ins and outs of how different governments and jurisdictions work.
Well, that's exactly right. And you can be successful, but you can be extremely successful if you commit to partnering in there and doing business with the people that live there and know how to do business there.
Yeah, for sure. Suzanne?
No, I think getting into that location, and that was the question I asked backstage was, where's your office? And so to hear that they've gone from locally in the Miami area down in there to do business really entrenches themselves to be able to do that. So what is the number of properties that you've got in development now? What's in the pipeline? Give us a snapshot to what the future looks like.
And if you can, give us a little separation between World Hotels and the other brands in the BWH portfolio, since you're president of the World Hotels.
So we just launched World Hotels in Latin America a year and a half ago. So our first two we opened, one in Brazil, the Majestic Hotel, and then we're building the developer we're working with is building a hotel in Guadalajara. So those are the first two World Hotels. But then we've just in this past week we've added 3 more hotels that will be in Lima, Peru, in the World Hotels brand. And again, those markets are unique in 2 ways for World Hotels. One, you've got a lot of all-inclusive resorts, which people enjoy. So we're looking to expand into the all-inclusive for World Hotels. But also on the luxury brand, there's some amazing small estates that might be 20, 25 rooms, almost, something we would consider a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
But these are, $500, $600, $800 a night destinations that are truly unique. And those fit, truly into the luxury hotel brand, even though they're a bit smaller than what those hotels normally be. But that's people, while they're looking for experience, it's not always major market. It's separation that I can go relax, restore, and really enjoy getting away from everything.
And it plays into the whole wellness philosophy. Not saying that you're going and doing yoga there, but the whole thing of getting back your brain and having a chance to detox from our culture or whatever culture those peoples are coming from. It's exhausting.
Some of it's solo travel. We always think of it as couples or families.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are just using that, Glenn, as you said, to just.
I would love that, honestly. Right? As much as I like being with my family, there's just something about completely shutting off. Right. And honestly, they all sleep so late. It's almost like I do that. I'm cursed to wake up at 5 a.m. So I have the whole day to myself, and then they all get up at like 2, 3. Let's go. I'm like, I'm off for a nap. So,
and going back a little bit to the sustainability discussion, if you want to feel real sustainability and commitment, go to South America. I mean, the rainforest is personal. And when you talk about things that destroy the rainforest, I mean, I respect their commitment to it.
I really like to see some of that part of the world for sure. I've never been to South America. That'd be amazing to check out those rainforests and stuff like that. But you're getting to check out lots of new places because World Hotels going into all these different markets, for example. That must be pretty exciting for you. I feel like right now you guys have really gotten traction and are on this real trajectory. It takes from the time you were appointed, it probably took like 6 months to just figure it out and get things going and create confidence. And now, boom, a little while longer, you're powering out.
Yeah, we are, and I would tell you, I know there's only a million people watching this, but when Best Western bought World Hotels, there was a bit of question from some of the owners of is this really a fit that you take a global mid-scale, upper mid-scale brand that's buying a luxury hotel brand that's been around for 50 years, and they now really understand the benefit of the relationship, that we protect the integrity of World Hotels and keep the two brands separate where necessary.
Yep.
But the benefits of the infrastructure, of the technology and the global loyalty program and the sales and marketing efforts benefits all. So to your point, Glenn, we really have turned the corner in the last year of, there's a lot of wins here.
Yeah. Hey, and listen, it's not like there wasn't another household hotel company out there that had a luxury brand that kept very separate and isolated from everything else for a very, very long time. So it's a precedent of that. It just makes sense. And I've watched your company grow over the last, 20 plus years, and you're really doing what a lot of the other companies are doing, are finding those white spaces and creating brands or accessing brands in order to be able to appeal towards all travelers, no matter what, age group or part of their travel cycle they're in.
Yeah, and the ability to offer unique experiences at each and every location or destination. The cookie cutter concept is gone for the most part, but these great independent hotels that are iconic, they're historic landmark buildings. We signed the Carroll 5 in Amsterdam. This was Napoleon Bonaparte's brother that built this hotel. It's absolutely an amazing 120-room historic property, and you're not going to get another experience like it. So people are looking for those opportunities, and those independent hoteliers that have done very, very well on their own for hundreds of years even, now see the benefits of connecting quietly to a brand where they can benefit, because it's extremely expensive just to compete on a technology platform, independent, when you've got a global brand of 4,500 hotels that can build that infrastructure and keep up with the times. It's a much better business. That's
absolutely right, Ron. And I think that's why we've seen so much success with whatever you want to call it, soft branding or whatever, because it really helps those independent-minded properties tap into today's customers where they want to be, while also giving people that sense of trust behind that brand, while securing that individuality of the experience. That's why it's been, I think, so successful since I think the first one launched in 2009 here in the United States.
And brands have recognized, what, you can't control the world here, and everything doesn't need to have a standard or a procedure behind it. Flexibility and all of that is important to today's travelers. So let go of the reins a little bit.
How are you feeling about overall interest in hotel investment globally? I mean, I was at this event yesterday. I was at the financial conference then, and the one before that, and everyone's good. There's money on the sidelines. Nobody's investing. Blah 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 blah. Are they right, or do you see it differently? How are you seeing the whole scenario here in the United States and on the global basis?
Yeah, I was going to say that's really the difference, is that there's a lot of money on the sidelines here in the States, and and we're in the middle of a crazy election year, and everybody's.
I hadn't noticed. No,
right. we're only at 50 commercials a day in ads, and we're not up to 100. So.
Oh yeah. Well, we don't get any of those ads over here in New York. You're up. There's a coin toss by you, so.
Right.
Yeah. Go on.
But the rest of the world, I would say that many parts of Europe are very similar to the States, that there's minimal investment and development there. But again, you move into all the other regions that we just talked about, certain parts of APAC, a lot of growth and development. We actually went on a trip in the beginning of January with our board to India for almost 2 weeks, just to better understand the country and the opportunity there. And we've got a great partner there with Sorel Hospitality. We've got 31 hotels open. We've got another 27, 28 in the pipeline. So we're growing, but that market, can easily have 500 hotels. So we're 100% committed to the growth in India. We're primarily in the northern region at this point. So pushing south, it's just amazing what's happening there. And they're in the middle of an election as well. That's got 2 weeks left in their election. Everybody believes that Prime Minister Modi will retain, leadership there, and he's just done amazing things. So it's a pretty impressive country.
Yes, it really is. So I think what you're really saying, it's a story of maturing versus emerging and growing markets. Here in the United States, it's obviously been a mature market for a while. And while there's still a lot of opportunities, high interest rates and other factors make people a little bit more skittish to make those investments. Whereas you go to like India, it's like building that new hotel right off the interstate that just opened, right? And the traffic is going to be coming, and nobody's been here before, and it's just great opportunities all around.
Well, and we look at it as, for Best Western Hotels, it really goes back to the roots of how Best Western started in the States. We did start out with roadside locations in secondary and tertiary markets, and that's exactly what is happening in India today.
Right.
Just a statistic that was shared when I was there, they are building 100 kilometers of new highways a day.
What?
Wow.
I mean, is that incredible?
Yeah.
It's like unfathomable. Wow.
Yeah, we couldn't get the curbs replaced here in my neighborhood for 6 months.
Right. And the majority of the country has Wi-Fi. So I mean, just some of the small things that make an incredible difference, and the thoughtfulness of how they're going about doing it is pretty impressive.
Well, yeah, just not to keep going on this particular issue, but countries that are emerging now have the benefit of seeing like what the United States did, what Europe did, how they approached various situations when population was growing, and then they could build infrastructure the right way that's based on how people are living today, as opposed to we've never done this before. Let's just figure it out, So it's pretty interesting. Suzanne, you got any more questions for our friend Ron over here?
I'd love to hear your take on what the construction and development costs are like in Latin America. We've heard from other guests that they found it to be relatively good and easier to construct. And I'm looking to see if it's the same type of experience you're encountering.
And throw in timelines as well, if you can.
Yeah, well, again, Latin America is a big place. So
we're talking a lot of different countries, and this is a generalization.
So, in Mexico, costs are reasonable. Labor is not expensive. Once you get the project approved, you can move pretty quickly through the project. Most of our, for the Best Western properties, they're built within a year. It can move along pretty quickly. South America can be different depending on the project, but yeah, to your point, timelines are reasonable, approval processes are reasonable. It's good there. When you get into APAC, everything is a little bit different. Another example is, there's a lot of new construction in Vietnam today.
Right.
And a lot of amazing projects. You can get them done, but the government has actually slowed development down because there were so many deals approved that they're concerned of, will the economy be able to handle all of these projects? So they've some projects that we've had in the works for 2 or 3 years now are just breaking ground because they weren't sure of the demand for the market. So
that's interesting. I can totally understand the reticence of that company because they had been so far behind for so long, and the whole interest in tourism is what, 15 years old, maybe. There, yeah.
Some of the longest white sand beaches in the world. It's absolutely a beautiful country, and as a North America, or especially the States, we've been somewhat distanced in development there. For reasons, but.
Yeah, check your history books, kids. Yeah.
Well, my follow-up to that would be, what is the labor supply like in these areas? And are you able to, in an efficient, quick manner, hire enough people and get them trained, or is that starting to be a little bit of a challenge with this demand?
Yeah, again, every country is really unique and specific to that. Mexico still challenged with labor, for the properties. It didn't seem to be as much of an issue in Peru. We've got some pretty large boxes there, and they seem to be okay from a labor perspective. In India, labor not a problem at all.
I have a few people that live there, I understand.
We've got 1.4 billion people that. But you know what was really, just if we think about the hospitality industry, for them it is like it was here 50 years ago. Of it's a career I aspire to be a part of. It's so incredibly hospitable and caring people, and they just want to do the right thing. And the wages are pennies, but it's a pride of what they do and how they do it, and pretty amazing. And go, just jumping back for a minute to the construction in India, the costs of construction are relatively low, but land prices are very high.
Right.
That's a valuable resource that they see that some has been in families for generations, and don't want to give that up. They know the value of that long term. So where we see that the land cost might be certainly a cost for the project, you look at construction probably being 2-3 times that. In India, it's the reverse, where construction costs are low, but the cost to get the land is extremely high.
Fascinating. I love learning little nuggets like that. Awesome. Ron, thanks so much. Before we let you go, how about a good plug for World Hotels?
Well, it's a North America we didn't talk about a lot, and it is truly
we talk about that enough.
Yeah, I know, but we've got 31 World Hotel projects in the pipeline. We just added a phenomenal resort, Caribe Royale Hotel in Orlando, Florida.
Yes, and I would like to say, please check my interview with their managing director, Amori, from last month. It's a killer interview, and we lead off talking all about this, the $140 million reinvention, and why they wanted to partner with you guys. So there, I did your plug for you. Plug something else.
Thank you for that. But hey, we want more World Hotels in North America. Call me.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. Ron, thanks so much for being here. And do me a favor, please just hang out for 1 sec while we wrap things up. Suzanne, that was a whole lot of fun, and I think so much packed in there. I would recommend re-listening to the show. Why not listen to the audio version of our show wherever you get your podcast? And if you're listening to that now, come check us out. See what we look like. Find us at novacancynews.com. And, of course, wherever you get your social media. All right, I'm off. I got to go. I got to get in the car and go to another state. So I will see you all tomorrow, but back here in the studio. Remember, you've got one life, so blaze on, and
follow your passion.
See you later.